Hi, welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and welcome to your root chakra Yin Yoga practice, which is focused on calming you down, giving you some self-care time, and hopefully leaving you feeling a little uplifted and calmer, and like self-care is important. This practice will also get into your hips and low back. It is a grounding earth element practice. We are holding for on the longer spectrum of holds for Yin Yoga. That is 5 minutes. Feel free to come into the pose and out of the pose as you need to. I am going to suggest a bolster. Other than that, I don't think you need any other props, but bring whatever makes you comfortable. Okay, let's go ahead and begin to come into this moment right here. Let go of anything that came before this moment. Find an easy, comfortable seat and begin to take your attention to your breath. Don't worry about Bandit if he coughs. For those who are new, we're in the bedroom because Bandit had surgery a few months ago. He's much, much better, but we still just need to keep an eye on him, and he's very happy in the bedroom. So doing Yin Yoga in bed is actually one of my favorite things to do. I'm really hoping to get out of this bedroom at some point, but this can show you possibilities. Okay. Now I'm going to suggest that you take your hands just on top of your cheekbones very lightly underneath your eyeballs. This is a really calming hold for any time you're feeling stressed, for any time you're feeling worried, for any time you're feeling anxious. Doesn't really matter what season we're in, what element we're in. And just breathe in and out through your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth. This practice is about self-care. It's Self-Care September. This is the second in a series of practices that are aimed about self-care and de-stressing and knowing that you are important enough to take time to take self-care. Last couple of breaths here. And slowly blink your eyes open if you've closed them, and allow your hands to fall into your lap or on your legs. And just take a few seconds here. Notice how you feel. And in case nobody's told you yet today, you are doing a great job. What we say to ourselves has so much power. In fact, I often say to Bandit, I tell him he's the bestest dog. It wasn't always true in the beginning, and it's not always true now, but I still tell him that. And I also wanted to share this quote from Anne Lamott with you. Almost anything will work if you unplug it for a few minutes. That's so, so true. In this practice, I will be sharing with you a couple of self-care practices that are very simple and do not take a long amount of time. To begin with, I'm going to come off my bolster. You can also do this next pose on a bolster. If you're familiar with Shoelace, if you're not, you can pause the video and there will be a little video up there. We can learn more about Shoelace pose. Today I am suggesting half shoelace. You can do full shoelace, it's up to you. So half full lace, have both legs straight out in front of you, bend one leg, doesn't really matter which, we can do both sides, and take that bent knee on top of the other knee. And that is it. This is half shoelace. Begin with a nice tall spine. Allow your eyes to close if it feels safe and comfortable for you to do so. Allow your attention to go inside. And if you like, you can bring your hands a little bit forward of that bent knee. And you can either have a straight back, hinging at the hips, or allow your back to round. Either way, I'm going to suggest tucking your chin just a little bit. And when we come forward like this, we are compressing our stomach. And we are helping to balance the stomach meridian. It's one of the organs that's associated with the earth element. Maybe you'd like to go a little deeper into your pose and walk your hands forward, or maybe you've gone too deep and you need to walk back. It's all good. You're still getting the benefits of the pose. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your hips. Unbend that bent knee. Take the soles of your feet to your mat, a little wider than hip width apart. Lean back into your hands and allow the knees to fall from one side to the other. This is called windshield wipers. It just helps any stopped up energy to begin to move again. And now let's go to the second side. So whichever knee you bent before, take the opposite knee, place it over the knee of the straight leg. And as always, well, not as always, but I like to start with a straight back. So one of the self-care practices I'm going to suggest today is to play or cuddle or pet a pet. If you don't have any pet, of course, if you have kids, you could play and cuddle with your kids. If you have a significant other, you can play and cuddle with that significant other. If you don't have any of those, I'm actually going to suggest that maybe you visit a animal shelter, because they always need people to play and socialize with the animals there. They really do. And don't worry, this is only one suggestion for today. You can also play around with placement of the foot. Do you want it coming straight out from your knee? Do you want it more toward your hip? Notice where you feel the sensation as you move that foot, if you choose to do so. And maybe you begin to walk yourself forward again on this side and allow your back to bend, if it's safe for you to do so. Allow your muscles to relax, going deeper and deeper inside. And begin to raise your torso upright as you walk your hands back toward your hips. Unwind that bent leg. Take the soles of your feet to your mat, a little wider than hip width apart, and back to our windshield wipers. And for the next pose, I am going to suggest sitting up on something, but as always, that is your choice. I'm going to sit on top of a bolster. We are coming into Dragonfly. So a great way to come into Dragonfly which is both legs coming out at kind of a 45-degree angle, depending on your flexibility, from your hips, is to start with bent knees. And you can keep those bent knees for the entire time you're in Dragonfly Pose. So start like that, just coming into the pose. And with this pose, I'm going to suggest to dance like no one is watching, because quite frankly, that's the only way I will dance generally. I am not a great dancer, and my husband doesn't dance at all, so I don't get much opportunities to dance. But when I do it at home and no one's watching, it can change your mood. It absolutely can change your mood. Doesn't even have to be a long time. And maybe you begin to straighten out those legs. Hands can be wherever is comfortable for you. Nice tall spine. And you can take your hands in front of you if you wish. Starting out maybe with a straight back, hinging at the hips. Chin slightly tucked in, looking down at your mat. And taking a few breaths here. Remember to come into and out of the pose as you need to. Our aim is to be still in our Yin Yoga poses, but it is absolutely okay if you need to readjust to find the appropriate edge for you today to come into and out of a pose. Or maybe you're new to Yin Yoga and you're not used to holding poses like this for 5 minutes. Sometimes you have to work up to that. And maybe you want to walk the hands a little bit further out. Should definitely be feeling that low back right about now. Also, again, compressing that stomach, as well as getting into our inner legs, which gets into the spleen meridian, the other organ associated with the earth element. Remember, knees can be bent if that feels right. And the simplest way to practice self-care is just to show up, however that looks like for you. Maybe that's taking out the mat that hasn't been stepped on in months. Maybe that's just sitting on that mat. Maybe that's laying down on your back as I talk and just relaxing. Maybe it's practicing with me. Last couple of breaths here. And slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your torso. And go ahead and bring your legs together so they're coming straight out from your body. Lean back onto your hands behind your body. Allow your heart to open up. And let's just take a minute in what's called the rebound. Rebound is where you can feel sensations in your body Perhaps, maybe you don't feel any yet, and that's okay too. Sometimes it can take a while. But sometimes you can feel kind of a tingling, maybe a little movement. And that can mean that energy that was blocked is now flowing freely. And then slowly walk your hands back to your body. Come on off of your bolster. I'm going to stay on mine. We're moving into Savasana, whatever that looks like for you. You may want that bolster underneath your knees so that your hips and your back can be more comfortable. Maybe you want a blanket over your body. Your temperature tends to dip as we are still. So if you set an intention at the beginning of this practice, other than the one I offered, which was self-care, grounding, root chakra, strengthening hips and low back, now is a great time to think about that. And I just want to, again, repeat the quote that I offered at the beginning of this practice from Anne Lamott. Almost anything will work if you unplug it for a few minutes. So, so true. That is my go-to for almost anything that's not working, including myself. But I don't do it enough for myself, quite frankly. And I bet that most likely you don't as well. But we work better when we do. Feel free to pause this video if you'd like to remain in Shavasana for a longer amount of time. And if you do need to go back into the rest of your day, allow your breath to deepen. Feel your body as it's laying on your mat or your bed, feeling really safe, very secure. I really hope that you feel better than you did when you got on the mat, whatever that looks like. That is my intention for you. And begin to take any small movements you need before coming into an upright seated position as we transition from our Yin Yoga practice back into the rest of our day. Inhale, bring the palms of the hands together in front of your heart, pressing the thumbs into that heart space. Fingers are pointing straight up towards the heavens, slightly bowing your head over your hands. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from pain and suffering. And may you take time to unplug every single day. Slowly blink your eyes open, taking in your mat, and then raising your eyes to see the rest of the room. And allow your hands to relax down into your lap or on your legs. I hope that you feel so much calmer, maybe a little happier, but a little more ready to take on the rest of your day. This is the second in Self-Care September. Next week will be a longer practice. It's the vernal equinox, so we will be practicing themed around that. It'll be a longer practice. And then we'll have one more self-care practice after that. I haven't decided on October yet. Right about now, you will be seeing some practices that you could add on to this practice. One is about saddle pose. It's about saddle pose, how to maybe prop yourself so that it becomes more comfortable for you. For a lot of people, that's a very challenging pose, and alternatives to saddle pose. So that's one of the top ones that are normally thought about when we talk about the earth element. But it can be hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me for a really long time, and I don't practice it as much as I should, so it could still be a little bit hard. Another one that could pair very nicely with this practice is Yin Yoga release for your neck and shoulders, because we store so much tension, at least I do for sure, in our neck, in our shoulders, especially with all the devices that we're looking at all the time. So that could be a really nice one. And if you're curious about what is this earth element, what is that about, I also have what I call mini masterclass on the earth element. You can check that out as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you are giving yourself grace and gratitude for showing up for yourself, and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening.